Um, so just the questions that you guys talked about earlier, I really like what you guys said. And I also studied something. They say that Satan knows nothing about Heavenly Father's plan. So he didn't know that, oh, like in order for them to get out of Garden of Eden, they have to eat that fruit. He knows that's something against, but he doesn't know like what God's plan was. And just as what Zhang and Kevin just said, that Satan wants us to be miserable. So he tried his best to tempt us because he has no body. So yeah, when I studied that, I was just like, oh, Satan doesn't know God's plan at all, but he kind of still be like a force, or yeah, I don't know, kind of just still be something that makes this plan work, but he personally knows nothing that this is actually God's plan, like the fall of Adam and Eve. So yeah, that is something I think is interesting.
I like how you said how like Satan wants us to be unhappy. And I think in one of my religion classes, I learned how like Satan is really just jealous of us because we have bodies and because we get to be on earth and have agency, that he's willing to do anything he can. I think he also has the power to make us feel guilty about little things that we may not need to feel as guilty about, like, oh, I should have helped my mom. And I feel like, yeah, of course, help your mom. But I think Satan has this power over us to make us feel more guilty, or like this is an insecurity this person has. So I'm gonna really harp on it so that insecurity becomes bigger than it needs to be. And so it's comforting to think about how Satan is jealous of me, so I shouldn't care what he has to say or what he's trying to do in my life.
Thank you. I really like that. Let's see. I also study something interesting, but I don't want to dominate the conversation. So I kind of want to know like if there's any points that you guys want to talk about it um, in this um, case study.
Oh, I'm interested to hear what you have to say. I think all your comments have been very good. So don't
Yeah.
feel bad for
Okay.
feeling you're dominating the conversation because you have really good points.
Okay. So one thing I would like to just talk about it is if God told Eve not to partake of the fruit, how is that a transgression, not a sin? Is there a difference between transgression and sin? So do you guys have any thoughts on that? Because I did my research and I found something I think is kind of new to me, but I would like to know how you guys think about the difference of these two terms.
I think that a transgression, like the technical meaning of it, was to break a law, I guess, or break a rule. And not all rules are like totally based on like your moral standards, like, and that's what makes a sin, something that's morally wrong, I guess. But not every rule you break is totally moral. I don't know if that makes sense. But so yeah. And I guess technically I don't know if they could sin if they were in the Garden of Eden and they didn't know good from evil. So maybe that's why it's called a transgression, where it's just breaking a rule.
That is really cool because for a non-native English speaker, for me, those two things, if I translate, it's pretty much the same. But as you said that, so I did a dictionary and also the Bible definition. They say that transgression is an act that goes against a law or like code of conduct. So I think about, okay, in Bible says Adam and Eve betray or violate God's trust, which is God tell them in the beginning. So this is formally formed. So this law that God has given to them has been formed before the earth was formed. So they say that it's wrong because it was formerly prohibited. So as for the sin, as you said, is like inherently wrong. So it's like you willfully disobey God's commandments or fail to act righteously despite of knowledge of the truth. But for me, part of me still feel like, oh, it's kind of still the same. But then I was like, probably transgression just means like he break the law that God has given them. Just like don't eat the fruit of, like don't eat the forbidden fruit, but they break this, so they transgress what the law has been established. But sin, I feel it's probably more like, oh, you know this is true, you know this is against God's will, or it will be displeased in front of the Lord, but you still do it. I don't know. I find a lot of research, but I still feel a little bit stuck. I was like, I cannot really explain well, but I kind of get the differentiation. But yeah, so that's what I think.
Well, as a non-native English speaker, I think you did a great job differentiating the two and explaining what you're learning. So don't feel like you're not doing a good enough job, because I think you did a great job explaining, and I like the way yeah, because I guess I never really thought of the difference too much until this activity, and how transgression, about how, because I looked it up too, and all I kind of really found was that it was a law. And for me, that kind of reminded me of kind of silly, but reminds me of speeding. Like if I get a speeding ticket, like I'm breaking the law, but I don't feel morally wrong to do so. And maybe on the judgment day I will, like God will be like, why'd you get so many speeding tickets? Like I don't know, but that's what I kind of felt for me, where when I feel like I'm sinning, it's more of interrupting someone else's peace or interrupting my own peace. And so that's what I was thinking about when you were explaining your point of views on it. So thank you for sharing.
What I thought of an example just now is maybe like some parts of the honor code. Like I used to have long hair and I had to cut it. I had long hair my whole life. And then I guess it would be a transgression to go to school and sign the honor code. But it's not really morally wrong to have long hair, you know. I don't think I would get judged at the last day for having long hair, but it's still just like a rule set to the school, I guess, for the standards. So I guess that's something that would be like a transgression, but not a sin.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thanks for your guys' insight. I think we're probably good for now. I think, because I'm not too sure exactly how long it went, but I think if you guys don't have any comments or thoughts to wrap up, then I think we will just end this discussion.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. My thing says 44 minutes. So, but I think mine may be a little longer than yours. But I think we're in the 40 to 50 limit. Well, time period.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so yeah, I'll just so yeah, I think we're good. And so if then you can just send the notes that you have. I think that should be good, because last time I was doing the scrapper thing too, but I just basically collect the notes that me and my teammates have, and I just send to Sister Lungi. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a
Bye.
good one. Thank you.
Okay, you can play music.